Bong Joon-ho's follow-up to Parasite is the darkly comedic sci-fi flick Mickey 17, starring Robert Pattinson. While it's an entertaining time, it's also a very disappointing follow-up to Parasite thanks to a bloated story and odd tonal shifts. Robert Pattinson is Mickey, a man who signs up to be a guinea pig for a spacecraft. He's a canary in a coal mine going into dangerous, risky scenarios and risking his own life before anyone else. Each time that doesn't work out so well for him and he dies, they clone his body and try again, until one day something doesn't go right. Mickey 17 is an entertaining time. As a piece of contemplative science fiction, it has a lot of compelling ideas and concepts, but the film doesn't always dive into them enough. The central theme about human rights and cloning, for example, is an interesting one, but Bong is more focused on the fun side of it than the deeper, more important possibilities. The film mixes genres, but not always very well. It's a sci-fi film, but it uses a lot of dark comedy, with moments of horror, absurdity, satire, and even some more family-friendly moments too. Like past Bong works, he flips the genres on a dime, and sometimes it works to make a quirky, fun time, but not always. The serious themes and messaging about tyranny, blind faith, human cloning, and death, just to name a few, are often undercut by the dark comedy. The jokes are very hit and miss. The first half of the film is pretty good in this regard, but as the film progresses, more elements are introduced, making for a bloated and overly long time. The film ends up being about too many things, with an escalation in absurdity and silliness, and while it wraps everything up well, it isn't always enjoyable to watch. The use of horror and the focus on animal rights is particularly unenjoyable. Bong isn't afraid to make viewers uncomfortable, and he does so very quickly with little warning. This film might trigger some people. You've been warned. Robert Pattinson and most of the cast are great. Mickey is well realised. We get a good idea of who he is, what makes him tick, and why he does everything he does. The narration by Robert Pattinson helps in this regard, and it makes him a very likeable lead. Naomi Ackie is perhaps the standout as his girlfriend and a hard-as-nails security guard. However, many of the other supporting characters and villains come across as cartoonish and outlandish in comparison. It's another example of conflicting tones just not working well at all. The film tries to be serious and grounded, but at the same time not at all serious or grounded. Mickey 17 is a fun time, with some hit and miss jokes, great performances in the key roles, and some compelling ideas and concepts. The great special effects, sets, and production values elevate the film too. But the tone isn't balanced well, the film tries to cram too much in, and its second half starts to drag a bit.